What are your initial comments and opinions about the plot of my short film? Like the storyline. What do you like? What are your initial thoughts on it?
I think it's quite good.
I do think it's good.
It's emotive.
Yeah. Do you think you'll be able to connect with the protagonist, which is the little boy, growing up?
Yeah.
Very much so.
I think it's nice that it's cyclical as well.
I think given the current era where we've got so many terrorist wars, where soldiers are being asked to go to foreign countries and defend themselves, I think it puts a very poignant view of how people have to cope with, fathers and husbands, etc., going to war. And, while you're specifically focusing on just the child, I think it will, bring out a lot of emotions on other aspects as well.
Yeah, great. Is there anything you'd change about my storyline? Or improve it in any way?
No, I think you did
I
a good job.
personally prefer a happy ending.
Okay.
And I think you need to give a positive
Yeah,
end, because sacrifices have to be made, right? And the sacrifices are all for very good reasons.
Okay.
The father going to war, it was a commitment that he chose to take, and one of the consequences was that his son would grow up without a father.
Yeah.
But those are the sacrifices we have to make. So I think the ending needs to be positive, so that other people who want to take the same path do not look at it as a sacrifice, but as if you're really contributing to the welfare and the safe being of all of us. I mean, I think that's what
Make
really
it inspirational.
inspirational.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, that's the word. Yeah.
So maybe a flash forward to him being with his son growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything doesn't have to end in
Into the
same
bad way. Okay. Thank you, that's a good point. Second question. So what is your favourite similar genre of film, such as social realism or war? And what was a significant moment of that film that you remember for whatever reason?
I'm going to get quick and say Private Ryan.
Yeah, Saving Private Ryan.
And the beginning, the realism of it.
Yeah,
It scared the life out of you.
definitely.
I thought it was absolutely brilliant. It held you, the start of the film held you, and you wanted to watch the rest of it. Other than the story, what it was about, the very beginning of it I thought was superb.
And I enjoyed the series of The Band of Brothers, made by Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg as well, where you had in 1940 a series of strangers come together to start training for the experiences of war. They've come together very close, and they are a band of brothers because of the experiences they've had, what they've shared, the horrors, the people that died. It's very powerful.
Mm.
I'm going to say A Bridge Too Far, because the key instance there was their inability to deal with the German tanks, because they'd not taken into account the information from the resistance people, and so they had no real anti-tank weapons.
Yeah. With my low budget, I plan on having German tanks in it.
Right.
What can I say? What was yours?
I'll be totally honest. I'm not much of a war movie kind of thing, but there's one movie I remember seeing. I can't recall the name, and it was about a American soldier and a Japanese pal, and they ended up having to fend for each other, and they build up a relationship, even though they're enemies. They build up a relationship where they learn to survive each other. So I guess the broader picture here is that maybe while war is inevitable, we are all human beings. We all have the same fears. We have the all same dogmas, etc. And maybe, that's the social realism. We can't avoid war, but we have to go into it.
Mine would be Birdsong, generally because of the emotiveness of the music and how it really, I think there was more majority music than there was dialogue, and that made you connect with the characters more, even though you didn't necessarily hear them talking.
Okay, great. Question 3. When reminiscing on your own childhood, what aspects of your memory do you focus on in particular? Like, for example, the people around you or specific objects such as a birthday cake?
Mine would be sort of where I am at the time, so your location.
Okay.
That is pretty much what sparks sort of you remember as a child. I think definitely, especially if you revisit that place, it's what brings the memory back.
And mine, I would agree with that location. So I always remember as a child, there's some woods next to our house which I always used to go and play in, climb trees, build, explore. So it definitely would be sort of location.
I think mine would be like the feeling you had at that time. Like, I know often if I feel something that I felt similarly to before, I'm like, wait, this feeling feels similar. Why does it feel?
Okay.
Why does it feel like familiar?
Mhm.
And then I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I felt it in this memory, kind of.
Oh,
Thing.
right, okay.
Mine's taste and smell. You smell or you taste something and it takes you back. Especially when you get older.
Yeah.
It really does. And you think,
Okay.
oh, that's like my mum used to make, or that's a smell I used to have when I was a
Okay.
child. It really does evoke memory.
Yes, so maybe
Anything
using like a graphic match of eating something and then a flashback from when you did it when you were younger.
Child and all that sort of thing.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's a mixture of all these things, but for me, I always find occasions are the ones that, like you see a photograph, oh, we celebrated that birthday, and then suddenly that brings a flood of memories of, oh, we did this or we did that.
Mm.
I think to me that's the occasions is what really brings out the memories.
I think it was, for me, it was going on, being able to travel and explore different locations, so that when I could catch the underground up to London and go to the different museums, or when I had a bicycle and I could go out exploring into the countryside.
Okay. Right, fourth question. Do you think I need dialogue in my short film to add clarity or not? Could you suggest why?
No, as long as you make it graphic enough, and sort of if you've got background music that kind of that displays the emotion that the character's feeling, then you wouldn't need dialogue. No.
And obviously you have to have music.
Definitely, yeah.
That will give that feeling to it. wouldn't
Okay.
it?
You need audio, but not necessarily dialogue.
Okay.
I think you need dialogue because it gives authenticity.
Yeah.
I find voiceovers, while they might be artistic and gives the bigger meaning, but a dialogue sounds a lot more natural.
Yeah.
It gives a much more, that, I don't know, that one-to-one feeling when someone's talking to someone. It sounds a lot more natural than if someone's giving a voice.
So they're like fully background noise of like each memory. Just keep that in. How do we feel about voiceovers? Are we
I
for
think-
them, against them?
I think you can't do without voiceover.
No.
Because obviously it's going back, therefore you need to give depth and clarity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you do need the dialogue.
Okay. Yeah. The reason I'm doubtful about a voiceover is because it's hard to pull it off and it still look professional.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like you don't need dialogue, because if there's no dialogue, it increases like the ambiguity. Like
Yeah.
you can there's more of for the audience to infer rather than you telling the audience this is what's happening, this is what I want you to feel. It's kind of this.
It depends on what you want to prove. I mean, if you want to create that ambiguity, then I agree. But if you want to give a very clear-cut message, then you need to, you don't want the audience to choose. You're telling the audience this is the way it is.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's really from the point of view, the starting point, the age of the boy in the first place, and how you're going to develop that through to when he actually joins the army. And do you need a little bit of dialogue, a little bit, as he's growing up, and
Yes.
because if he's quite small, then going through puberty and this sort of thing, and mature, and getting mature enough to, you might need something.
Yeah. I think to clarify that phase, I'll need something. For soundtrack, how do you think music can aid the emotive visuals during my short film?
Yes. It creates emotion, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Music. On your subject, emotion is quite a lot in it, and without it, it would. Yeah.
reflect how the character's feeling.
Yeah.
I think music extenuates what you're feeling.
Yeah.
It just brings it further out.
Yeah.
But my personal view is that I think a lyrical song would most probably have a bigger impact than a non-lyrical. But it depends on obviously what kind of scenes you do.
Definitely, okay.
Because if you can relate to what the music is trying to say, then I think it just extenuates whatever you're feeling much further.
Okay.
We might have copyright issues.
Yes, that is an
Definitely.
issue that we have to deal
But
with.
you can take remakes or
Yeah.
You can do covers and things, but it's easier to use instrumental for the reason that lyrical
That's
is
why people use
hard to
orchestral music, because there's no
Definitely.
copyright.
exactly. That's it.
They use
Yeah.
Tchaikovsky, etc.
That's why I was mainly planning to use instrumental. But do we all agree that lyrical would be better?
It all depends what part of the film
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. Okay.
you're in.
Yeah. All right.
Yes, I think some background instrumental. You know, I would
Mm.
prefer background instrumental.
I think
Because
I
if you
think
watch, and agree with what you were saying just now. If you watch a movie, surely I remember very well, like Gladiator, how they use music to reinforce that the goodies are trying to defeat the baddies,
Definitely.
etc. And that sounds cheesy, but it reinforces your emotions to get behind the better
Yeah.
person to conquer the bad people, etc.
Mm.
I think, yeah, I mean, you know, if the scene is such that it's clear, so for example, it's a real sad occasion, say, I don't know, when he hears the sound, first hears of his father passing away or something, then you don't really need lyrics for that. It's
No.
pretty obvious, and a nice background sound will extenuate that feeling. But if the message is not quite clear in the picture, then you might need lyrics to
Mm.
expand that. I think it varies.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
to agree with it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, final question. I don't have a title yet for my short film. Do you have any ideas that could be used for it, or suggest what should be in it?
That's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tough question.
What should be suggested by the film title to the
It
audience?
depends on the message you're trying to get across.
Yeah.
It is. Something else. Your brain's in.
I think it should be personally attached to the character.
Yeah.
So
I think it should be attached to the meaning you're trying to give
Meaning
to the
behind the film.
movie. Yeah.
And it's the memory of the father, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
There's
based
a
on-
challenge of him growing up
Yeah.
without a father.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's.
It's a hard one.
Yeah.
It depends. I mean, if you're extenuating about the impact of war,
Yeah.
then your title's based on that. But if your main goal is to talk about the emotions the son feels growing up without a father,
Mm.
then maybe you need to put that in the title.
It's something I read about films, and a lot of the directors do not make the film title up.
No.
They always have a working title.
Yeah.
And then when they actually see the film, the title hits them in
Then
the face.
comes to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be the case.
So it's
Yeah.
Project X at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
They change the
Or,
titles
or
a dozen
you
times.
put down
when the film
Rachel 1. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you.